Bills Banter, welcome back for another episode. Stevie, since we last spoke, we saw the rival jerseys come out looking all crisp and white. So the fans need to know, what is your favorite Bills uniform of all time?
You know what, Mike? As much of a fan as I am with those icy whites that they just unleashed, I'm going to say I'm inspired by the 90s threads. You know, that throwback red helmet, the blue top, the white pants, the red socks, the white cleats. Oh, it was so sweet. I'm going to say those are my favorites in the 90s. What about you, Mike?
I have a soft spot for the red helmets as well. I did love the ones that you played in. I also love the red ones they wear now. You don't see it often, but when they break out those red ones, I'm a big fan. Go all red. Wear the red helmet. All of that.
Electric.
Sammy,
Electric.
hit it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Bills Banter with Stevie Johnson and Michael F. Florio.
Fitzpatrick fires. Oh, caught! Steve Johnson! Touchdown, Buffalo! Why so serious?
The sickest Buffalo Bills podcast.
Allen will run it himself. He pumps. Got some daylight. Hurdles to the end zone.
It's gonna be sick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We locked in, Mike. How you feeling after the first game last night?
Probably better than Jalen Carter's feeling right now. Unfortunate situation. Huh? But hopefully no one in the Bills decides to do that because we're going to need them. How about you? It was just good to get the juices flowing again and have football back.
Yeah, man, it felt good, man. Seeing the Cowboys and seeing Philadelphia go out there and compete. That was inspiring to me, especially how Dallas's offseason has been with the Michael Parsons leaving the team and all that stuff that was going on. But for them to still come out there and bring it how they did, you know, that was good to see. I think there's going to be a great balance in the NFL, and teams will compete. We spoke about the Jalen Carter. It's unfortunate. We can go a little deeper later if you want to. But, yeah, man, that was pretty wild. Huh?
You got thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, initially I was thinking you got to do something to make a statement because you can't do that. You can't go out there and spit on a person and you haven't even played a down yet. You went through all this offseason, all the work, and then you go out there and you can't control yourself and you spit on the opposing quarterback right in front of the referees. I mean, like, come on, you got to think about the mental on that. And that's what I was initially thinking, like, what is Philadelphia going to do? But then when I ended up seeing the rest, how it played out, I saw Dak provoke him, which Dak spit on the ground, and it provoked Jalen to spit at Dak. And now I take it as that's locker room competition. You know what I mean? He got baited and he owned up to it. I don't think they need to make a statement out of it. He'll get his payback another way, you know, and I think he let his emotions get the best of him. And I think we'll be on to the next.
If you're Dak, though, right? Like, that's a huge win for you. You just got their best player on defense before he even gets to play a snap. Like, that's a huge. If you're Dak, that's a big win.
Man, if I'm Dak, I'm trying to do that every week. Why not? Be the villain. Hey, why so serious, right? Be the villain. If you can get a guy to crack and have their best guy out, because you seen what happened. It wasn't well. They still got pressure on Dak last night, but. You know, imagine if Jalen Carter was there, maybe some of those possessions wouldn't have led to touchdowns. You know, maybe it was 3 or a punt. So, yeah, it paid off for Dak at the end of the day.
It seemed like Philly adjusted as the game went on, but those early drives, like they were running the ball and through that right between the tackle. Like you're not doing that if Jalen Carter's out there. So it felt like it took Philly a little bit to adjust because they haven't had a plan on not having Carter. So like. For half at least, it felt to me like it worked.
Yeah, and then a rain delay happened, and that kind of like it seemed like the momentum of things kind of slowed down into Philadelphia's favor. But hey, you call that home field advantage, right? And Philadelphia did what they were supposed to. I don't really know much about Dallas aside from the Micah Parsons talk. You know, I don't believe the Bills played them, so I wasn't even thinking about them. But Philadelphia, they looked like they was ready. Jalen Hurts came out and did exactly what he's been doing since he's came into the league, controlled his team, scored with his legs. He controlled the pass game. When I say controlled the pass game, AJ Brown, his top guy, he only got 1 or 2 targets, and that was in the fourth quarter, but that was to seal the game. And that's smart football. At the end of the day, that's winning football, and that's keeping his body strong and ready to endure an entire season. So I'm with that.
We're going to talk plenty of Bills, but I do want to ask you on that real quick, because you being a former wide receiver in this league, a star in this league, you get 1 target and it comes with less than 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. Your team wins, though. Are you feeling good about it, or are you like, hey, maybe next week throw me the ball a little bit more?
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it because the overall thing is for the team to win. And then if I'm in AJ Brown's shoes, I wouldn't be worried at all. I just won a Super Bowl. You can get open whenever you can when they need you to, but you guys are winning. Now, if they were losing, that'd be something different. Let's say you're losing and then you get 1 win, and within that 1 win, you only have 1 target. It's like now you can feel a certain way. So it's all about situations. In the situation that AJ is in, he don't need to stress about anything when you got a back like Saquon and you got a game controller like Jalen Hurts in a defense like you guys have. So all you got to do is be mentally prepared when it's your time. You don't need to have 12, 13 catches and have all the glitz and the glamour, because at the end of the day, you hoisted the Lombardi. At the end of the day, that's the main thing.
That is the perspective of an athlete. As a fantasy player, I didn't enjoy that 1 target going his way. I'll tell you that.
But as your opponent in fantasy, I enjoyed it.
and we are going to discuss the fantasy league a little bit later in the show. We got to talk. And while we're on the Cowboys, I'm not going to talk a lot about this. I was very sad that Micah Parsons is a Packer and not a Bill. Like, obviously we want great players on our team, but I was like, if there was ever a big move to be made, you go get Micah Parsons and you say for the next 5 years we have him and Josh. Good luck, NFL.
Hey, Mike,
I thought that was an opportunity they could have had.
What would you do with this, Mike? Would you trade some of the draft picks that we have for Micah Parsons or players? How would you have done it if you were Triple B?
Looking at what the Packers gave up 2 firsts and 1 player. Like I would do that. I would give up 2 firsts because the firsts are going to be, if the Bills are as good as I think they're going to be these next couple of years, we're talking late first round picks. And yeah, it would be sad to see a player go from this team. I like everyone on the roster and stuff. We're talking about Micah Parsons.
You do that. What is he? 25 years old? 26?
I believe in that range. Yeah.
You make that happen, brother. I like how that you said that, because the Bills, they are going to be doing good. So you're going to get that later first round draft pick. So yeah, you definitely give that up. And I would throw in a player just to make sure that the deal go through. Because that's another 5-6 years of a dominant pass rusher with a dominant offensive player to lead your offense. That's everything that you want. Sucks that it slipped through.
In my opinion, it's like getting Josh Allen his Chris Jones. Like Mahomes has that, and it's led to so much success. And look, the Bills have plenty of talent. Joey Bosa could be that, but Micah Parsons is one of one. And like it would have been fun. But Stevie, we have an actual real Bills game this weekend. We're gonna see 17 playing for the first time. The battle of last year's top MVP candidates. Mm-hmm. We're happy our guy came out on top, but that was the most heated MVP battle I have ever seen, and I have not even the utmost respect for Lamar Jackson. I'll take it even a level further. I have like fear about Lamar Jackson. He is that good and that dangerous, and we know when these two teams play, you're going to have to score points to win. So in your perspective, what do you think the Bills have to do offensively if they come out victorious Sunday night?
Offensively, they just stick to the script. I believe Coach Brady is seasoned for them to have their own type of offense imprinted on this game. And when I say their own type of offense, we may want to see air it out highlights, big plays, but I believe they have the dynamic everybody eats type team still to get those short passes, short plays that end up turning into big plays. So they'll be comfortable in themselves and controlling this game on the offensive side. The defensive side, that's a little bit different. But as far as on the offense, I feel like they don't need to push anything or press anything. They just need to play their game, run the ball, get the short passes, crossers, find Keon. And if you have to make a big play, you have the guys to do it in Josh Palmer, like I said, and Keon Coleman to go up and get it. And now Tyrell Shavers, who knows if he gets some action.
And to your point, I think that's what they did in the playoffs, right? Like, I know fans watch and they're like, Lamar's the one that put on the show and Josh didn't do much. Josh didn't have to do a whole bunch in that game because they had a lead and they were like, we're going to take care of the ball. We're going to grind out the clock. We're going to trust our run game. We're going to trust our guys to win after the catch. And it worked.
It worked.
In the
it worked.
Regular season game, I think, look, they got off to the slow start. They were trailing, but they were in a position to come back until that trick play where Allen got strip sacked. And that to me felt like it took all the wins out. So, like, I don't want to see stuff like that unless it's necessary, you know? Like, if you can control the clock, let Josh be Josh. Like, I think good things will happen there. And you talk about trusting, like, Keon and Palmer. And who do you think will, in this game, lead the way receiver-wise?
Receiver-wise, I got to go with Khalil Shakir because a lot of factors. You know, week one, you're pretty much at your most healthy that you're going to be in the season. And knowing that he's the most reliable target that Josh has had, and Khalil's breakout game was actually against the Baltimore Ravens maybe 2 to 3 years ago, where he didn't have a big game, a big splash game, but he was there on crucial situations. Not to mention it was rain out there in Baltimore, and Khalil was still making plays. And I want to say he was a rookie or second year. So that comfortability between 17 and Shakir, that's going to pay dividends. And I believe he's going to have over 75 yards receiving. And we'll see if Keon can get at least 50 and maybe a big play by Josh Palmer, just to get him comfortable in the offense for week one. But I'm looking for Shakir to lead the way as far as receiver category go, Mike.
I agree with you. I think given that it's week one, given that it's this opponent, like you kind of rely on who you trust. And I think Shakir has all the trust in the world from Josh. Plus, the Ravens struggled against slot receivers last year. And look, I know not a lot of good happened in that regular season beatdown that the Bills took from the Ravens last year. But the play of the game, in my opinion, was when Josh ran for his life, somehow avoided going out of bounds, and was able to connect downfield with Shakir. Like, I think that's an underrated aspect of his game. So that was going to be my answer as well. I think this is a game where you come out, you rely heavily on your proven number one target, and maybe you get a couple of splash plays from Palmer and Coleman.
Right.
I think the offense will run, passing game at least, through Shakir. I expect to see a whole lot of James Cook as well. He's going to show that he's worth that every cent of that new contract that
absolutely.
Stevie, you mentioned a very different case on defense because you got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers and DeAndre Hopkins, Rashad Bateman, a ton of talent on the offensive side, on the other side. So, look, you're never going to shut down this Ravens defense, but what do the Bills have to do to slow it down enough to get a victory?
Yes, and that's come out on fire. The thing is, the Baltimore Ravens dominated our Buffalo Bills because they came out on fire. They came out with a big 60-yard run. Derrick Henry was just downhill from the gates. Now, when you have to play from behind, you kind of you change up your offense a little bit, especially when you're on the road. You kind of battling certain things. But if the Buffalo Bills can come out and they meet Derrick Henry at the line and be physical with them, then that's going to give the Buffalo Bills a comfort to play their own game, to mix up their defense. They understand they won't stop Jackson completely or Henry completely. But if you do minimize them to just a neutral game, that's more than enough for a Buffalo Bills team who's used to averaging at least 27, 30 points a game, So I believe they're comfortable. And why I'm so confident in our defense is because we have a guy returning in Matt Milano who's missed an entire season, basically. And he watched another partner in his room get 117 tackles in Dorian Williams. I think Matt Milano's going to come back smoking, and he's going to make his presence felt. So I think that's going to neutralize the Baltimore Ravens early, and it's going to press Jackson to do more, and we'll see if their team can keep up with Jackson or not, like the playoffs happened.
I know it sounds crazy to be like, to beat a Lamar Jackson team, you got to stop the running back. But I completely agree with you. Like, the difference between the regular season game and the playoff last year was how they defended Derrick Henry. Like you said, that first play in the regular season game, before the Bills are even they're really even on the field. Like, you're down a touchdown. Like,
Right.
for
Down a
one
touchdown.
play.
Heavy,
And
yeah.
I don't got to remind Bills fans. They know that this guy, Derrick Henry, has ran all over this defense his entire career. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. But in the playoffs, they were hitting him quick and early. And there was a couple of plays in the playoffs where I thought Derrick Henry was going to break a 70-yarder. And he didn't. Because an underrated part of the regular season game too is both linebackers were out. Like, the Bills defense was very beat up in that game. So I agree with you. I think if you stop Henry, you make this offense a little bit more predictable, because when you could run play action and stuff, good luck. Like, Lamar's going to pick you apart.
Another thing, Mike, is our DBs. As much as they talk about them as being the kind of the downfall of the Bills because they're so much high on other positions, they're actually great at run defense. You know, from our safeties being physical. I mean, Damar Hamlin was the third leading tackler on the team. You really don't want that in your safety, but when you see that, that means they're not afraid to come down here and meet running backs, you know, at the line of scrimmage or at that 5-yard mark. And that's what I believe is going to help this Buffalo Bills team neutralize Baltimore. They're going to condense the field, and it's going to come down to Lamar Jackson's skill group to win. And I don't believe their skill group is going to carry against the Buffalo Bills defense collectively, Mike.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And as a former player, we could talk about like what this group of guys have to do and stuff. But the difference between us and other Bills pod is we have someone who's actually played in these games. So,
Indeed.
Stevie, from a player mind's perspective, what is the vibes like going into week one?
You fresh, and it's like those old vibes where you go to the family picnic or the community barbecue and everybody's out there. Like, that is what week one is like. It's a party. You ready to show your best fit, your best moves on the basketball court. If y'all playing was it when you knock out, you want to win, you want to be the best. So it's those vibes, man. The fans, the community get to finally come out. Sometimes it's like, I would say it's the best time aside from the Super Bowl. Some people would say it's one of those best feelings aside from the Super Bowl. But week one is where it's at. That's where it all begins, and we'll see how the team evolves throughout the season from this big week one matchup.
And what's it like playing on Sunday night, right? Because I know, speaking with players and stuff, you guys get your routine, and typically when you play at like 1:00, like everything is kind of red. But you got to just be sitting around literally waiting all day for a Sunday night. So, like, do you get antsy? Like, what's it like playing on Sunday night?
Now that's tricky right there. I would, say, oh, it's good. It's nighttime. You playing under the lights, but you hit it. Like, you're waiting around all day, and it's like, oh my goodness, you got meetings. Then you waiting in a hotel. You can go get some food. You got time to yourself. It's so long. And you got it. In my situation, we didn't have as many primetime games, so it was an adjustment when we did have a Sunday night game, or when I went to the 49ers and there were more Sunday night games. It was a lot of time, but at the end of the day, once you get on that bus and you start heading through the city, that's when the electricity start beginning in your body, and it just start turning into that Friday Night Lights type feeling. And it's the best. You feel like you're playing against the best because you under the lights and everybody's watching. Is what you really want. That's what you work out and you get ready for those moments. And that's pretty cool that they get to provide that every week with a Sunday night football, Thursday night football, and Monday night.
And you talk about everyone watching, and that's true for every Sunday night game. But I Ravens Bills week one, I feel like the eyes of the nation are going, and that was the last thing I wanted to talk about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the two of the top at worst 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. I think the 2 most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. But the last thing on this game for me, Stevie, is that this isn't just a regular week 1 game, right? Like it's not opening up against the Cardinals. It's not opening up against the Rams. It's not, all right, we're working out the kinks here. This is like a game that is going to come back in the MVP conversation this year. It's going to come back potentially from being the 1 seed or not. And the 1 seed, I think, is huge because 2-3 is probably going to be some combination of Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. So you got to go through then 2 of the top teams to get to the Super Bowl. It could be the difference between having to go to Baltimore in January versus them coming to Orchard Park. Like, I know week 1 is fun, and usually like everyone's just happy to be back and stuff. In my opinion, this is much bigger than I think this is before the schedule came out and we knew who the Bills were going to play. I was like, Bills Ravens to me feels like the biggest game of the year, and that's how it starts. So I know it's just week 1, but to me, it's more than just week 1.
Yeah, and I love this matchup because it puts our guys to the test instantly. You know, we drafted 5 out of our 6, 7 picks was defense on the defensive side, and now you get to match up against an MVP and a stud in Derrick Henry. You know, the only thing is the Baltimore Ravens, they aren't healthy, 100% healthy. Isaiah Likely's not going to be playing, and their stud fullback Ricard is going to be off. So, you know, at the end of the day, the Bills should dominate this game. You know, it's going to be an electric game and entertaining, but I'm still heavily on the Buffalo Bills to run the table against the Ravens.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm going Bills. I think it'll be close. I think I'm going to be walking in front of the TV, pacing and stressed at times. And I'm happy that we're on the West Coast TV and we're not going to be up till midnight and then probably not going to bed till 2, 3 a.m. being so amped up after the game. But yeah,
that was brutal for the Cowboy Philly game. And that rain delay, that was wicked. But
I was joking. I was like, "There's gonna be a lot of tired people in those Philly offices today." You know,
man, you know who dedicated and you know who casual.
Exactly. And Stevie, since we last spoke, a lot has happened in the Bills world. So just quick, wanted to get your quick thoughts on Bills signed Gabe Davis to the practice squad. They signed Jordan Poyer and Jordan Phillips to the squad. Like, the dogs are back, and I think it means a lot when players want to. Like, you hear Jordan Poyer be like, "Miami wasn't home, Buffalo was home." I think it speaks on the culture they've built there, but I think it also speaks about how crazy the depth is that the Bills have this year.
Yeah, you know, that part, you know, we'll start off with the culture. The culture is everything. When you have guys going to places like Miami and feeling like, oh, I don't really connect with that community or that culture. I want to be back in Buffalo. You know, same with Phillips. He left maybe a couple times and now he's back. And that culture, it drives the team, you know, because there's times where you can get fatigued and mentally fatigued. And if you got a culture and a community that supports you, that kind of recharges your battery every day, you know, and that's very helpful. And then when you're talking about, you know, just players being back and adding that depth with Jordan Poyer and Gabe Davis, obviously they're not going to be the main guys right now, but they will have influence in the locker room and they'll have influence on the game because they are, at the end of the day, physical players. When Jordan Poyer get back and healthy and running around, he's a physical guy that can, you know, shift energy just like a young Jimmy Charlo did in the preseason when you seen the energy he had when he came down making impact. So that's what Jordan Poyer brings. And Gabe Davis, obviously, the familiarity with Josh, you know, as a receiver quarterback combo. Maybe you just need that hitch that you can get it out there too and get the defense to think. You know, so I'm good with it. Only thing I'm not good with is they didn't hit me up because I'm trying to get out there and play with them too. What's up? What's happening?
Let's give SJ13 at the very least a practice squad spot, right? Let him show you that he still got it, and then he'll be catching passes from 17.
That part. I need you to be my agent though, Mike.
Hey, I got you, man. I won't even take a 10% or whatever these agents take. I just want to see you out there doing your thing again. But speaking of you doing your thing, I think it's time for our favorite segment of the week.
Yeah. Hey.
Why so serious?
Yes. The Why So Serious segment of the week. And what I'm going to say about this Why So Serious segment is turnovers. We're going to talk about the turnover battle. Now, why is that so serious? Well, because the team that wins the turnover battle, they win the game 70% of the time. The actual numbers is 69.8 or something like that. So we just round it up.
We round
70.
up.
Yeah, we round up to 70. So that's on both sides, though. If the Bills make a turnover, that gives the 70% to the Ravens. Same goes with the Ravens. And I feel like our Buffalo Bills are controlled. The coaching staff from Bobby Babbage to Joe Brady on offense and defense, they got a very balanced team, and they take care of the ball. I believe they'll force the Baltimore Ravens to give up one, maybe two turnovers. And that gives us, an 80% chance if we get two turnovers. But that's my Why So Serious segment of the week. Keep an eye out on the turnover battle when that's going to be the person or the team who wins the game.
100% agree. I think back to the playoff game which literally came down to the wire. The Lamar turnover, interception, the Lamar fumble, and the Mark Andrews fumble. Without any one of those three things, the game could easily go the other way.
It can be flipped to where the Buffalo Bills are now on the offensive side trying to go get a score or a point to get the ball back. So yeah, those turnovers are crucial, and it's something I'm gonna be looking forward to watching this week 1.
When you have teams this talented and defenses this talented and quarterbacks this talented, yeah, one possession could flip the whole script. So the margin of error is so thin in a game and in a game that I think again is going to come back. We're going to hear about this later in the year, the Bills beat the Ravens or the Ravens beat the Bills or whatever. So that is going to matter.
Did I flip, Mike?
You flipped the script right now.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't even press nothing, but hey, it is what it is.
It's the turnover battle. That's
it's the turnover battle. That's right. And I'm losing right now because this is not a good look. But hey, it is what it is. Athletes adjust, and we'll just keep it rolling.
I don't want to I don't want to make you talk sideways too long. Last thing we're going to bring up. We drafted our fantasy teams this year, this week. So Stevie, I will say you surprised me as the former wide receiver. You waited on wide receiver. You loaded up on running backs. But how did you feel about your draft?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. I feel like I got probably a B minus, C plus, because I did miss on a few guys. Some guys was taken before I even got to. And I even went in and didn't even draft the defense. It was crazy. Those fantasy drafts are pretty wicked because you plan all day. I know what I'm gonna do. I know exactly what I'm gonna do with that first pick. And then the draft started, and then that first pick is taking you okay, what do I do? Now I'm up on clock and I gotta hurry up and press something. Man, it was fun though, man. I'm looking forward to running this league, and I already got some transactions out there to see if I can shake the league up a little bit. But I'm looking forward to it.
Look, I will say things kind of we're only one game into the first week, but I started Dak against you. I was like, I got Dak. I have CD. I'm going to run this stack out there. Didn't go as planned.
25 points, huh? Yeah, I should eat that up. But hey, CD Lamb had as opposed to the game that he had, where he missed the pass at the end, still getting 18 points.
He put up numbers.
Yeah, he put up numbers. So
Dak, not so much.
Yeah, and that's crazy. That's the difference in fantasy and in real life, man. You can't play fantasy with your heart because I felt like Dak had a good game. He had a good game when you watch it, but when you see the numbers, only 7 points. Hey, let me know if you need a quarterback. I got somebody for you if you want to make some moves.
Did you get any Bills on your team?
Yeah, I got James Cook on my squad, and I was going for Khalil Shakir, and and then it got taken by Miss Margot, and who else?
I wanted Coleman.
That's it.
He went before I could get him.
Yeah, I'm putting some.
I think I stole your boy Josh Palmer from you though.
Fields, you got Fields, I believe. Did you get Justin Fields? Yeah. I think he's gonna be a sneaky pickup.
Bad decision.
Yeah. We'll see what happens though, because Pittsburgh, I believe Jets play Pittsburgh, and they known for that defense, and we'll see what Fields can do in his opening game.
This is the tragedy of having as many teams as I do. I have a lot of Fields, and I'm starting him in a lot of leagues. So I was like, you know what? I have CD in this league. Let me go with the Cowboy stack in this one. I have Fields in enough, and now I'm sitting here today talking to my week 1 opponent. I wish I didn't play Dak last night.
Hey, yeah, it's gonna cost you, man. Hey, this is my tricky pick right here. So I got Keenan Allen in my starting lineup. And why do I have Keenan versus the Kansas City Chiefs? I feel like he's always had good games against them. This is his welcome back game. And again, week 1, this is the healthiest you're going to be. So I feel like they're going to spend time focusing on Keenan. The only thing that gets me with that is it's a Greg Roman offense, and he's heavy with the run game. So that's one thing they may neutralize me, but I'm going to say Keenan Allen's going to be my sneaky leader this week.
Maybe I'm way off base here. I always associate you and Keenan Allen together because you guys played together. He wears 13, and the way he runs his routes just kind of reminds. Like I feel like you had a lot of influence on a young Keenan Allen back in the day.
Oh yeah, well, just as far as opening up his mind with certain things, because he's a great technical route runner. And what we did when I came to San Diego, he just saw how I was moving a little shifty laterally in my come to balance phase to be able to go different ways, back, forward, and left, right. And he just added that to his game and took it to another level, mixing in that the technical route running, which means like the straight line and Rice type, those type of guys, Ocho. Keenan just added that come to balance and it made him even more explosive. And I love watching him play every time.
The shifty, like almost like basketball style. Yep. I watched that and I'm like, that's Stevie right there. Like,
and it's interesting you say that because at the time, like coaches wasn't teaching that or showing that to their receivers. So the influence kind of came from, okay, I see Stevie doing it and he's been doing it for this. So let me just add it to my game, even though they're not teaching me or showing me. And it just opened up his game even more as it did with all of the receivers.
And it's funny because that was just like 10 years ago. And now coaches are teaching it. Like now they want these guys doing that.
Right. Now they want it, So it's pretty good to see the game evolve into that. And that's why you see all these electric players getting 18 fantasy points, and that's on mediocre games, I would say, So it's pretty cool to see the entertainment in the league nowadays, Mike.
If you're talking about most influential wide receivers of all time, you got to include this man on the list.
Man, yes, love. And that's with no love, no shout outs, so yeah.
Hey. And shout out to our fantasy league. We're gonna have a couple of you guys. Look, right now, Stevie's week 1 opponent is here talking some smack. But when it's you guys, there's a couple of you that are gonna be joining us this year. We're gonna have a really good time in the Club HBHF Fantasy League, and that's you get to run it back in the championship.
Yeah, hey, that's what I'm planning on doing. But I want to shout out how cool it is that the opponents in our league get to jump on the show and banter with us, man. That's something that hasn't been done. I don't think I've seen other fantasy owners get on shows and talk about their teams and talk about their life and what's going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing who's up next for us.
Yeah, likewise. And Stevie's gonna be seemingly in a new city every weekend. This weekend is Orlando, but you're just traveling the country, partying it up, and watching games with Bills fans, right? I'm sure it's a fantastic time every week. Look, if Bills fans are one thing, we're fun, right? Like,
absolutely, man, and very supportive, So shout out to the Bills community. Shout out to the Bills backers, Orlando. Our Cigar Mafia partners, the love that they gave helped us open up an auto shop, which also helps tons of people in Buffalo and Grand Island, called Homer's Garage. And it was all through community work and support, So that's what the Mafia is all about. It's really family, and I appreciate it.
And if you're a Bills fan who doesn't live in Buffalo, be on the lookout because Stevie's going all over the place and he wants to see you guys there. So definitely support that. And it's a way you can feel like you're in Buffalo without actually being in Buffalo because
absolutely
there's Bills fans everywhere.
Absolutely. And if you're not a Bills fan, hey, it don't matter. You can still join us in the comments, give us your thoughts, give us what you expect and your insight. And, we'll be looking forward to chatting it up with y'all and making sure y'all be a part of the show also.
If you're a Ravens fan, you could be listening to this right now and trying to be like, all right, this is what we think they got to do to beat the Bills. Unfortunately, we're hoping you're sad Sunday night, and we're not. But
that's pretty interesting. We might have to get an opposing team fan on for one of our shows each week. That'd be pretty cool.
And this would have been a good week for that. Ravens fans, if they are one thing, it is passionate and I know, look, the MVP wars put these fan bases against each other last year. I think there's no fan base is going to feel bad for the other one after Sunday night, but hopefully it's the blue and red celebrating and not the purple and black.
Right. Shout out to the Ravens flock, but it's Bills Mafia versus the world, baby. Bills Mafia against everybody, man. And that's what it is.
Last thing I'll ask you, Stevie, before we go. How do you feel about the Bills being a trendy Super Bowl pick right now? Because a lot of people the last week or so I've seen come on board.
Well, I mean, yeah, they've been on board because we have an MVP, and it's easy to see that with HBO, all the exposure. So everybody's gonna jump on. But the originals, we know we've always had the Bills as a favorite, and we always believe it. I believed it for the past 4 years. I thought we would get to the Super Bowl, and then if we got there, we win it. You just got to get there now. And, I believe it's accurate. It's fair, but it's still Buffalo against the world because, that's what it is, really.
Yeah, I don't like it when everyone is picking the Bills. I like it when no one believes in them except for Bills fans, and it's Buffalo versus the world. When everyone else jumps on board, I'm like, this I don't like it. You're putting too much confidence. I like being, maybe it's just because the Bills are always underdogs in my mind. Like, I feel more comfortable in the underdog role. It's more fun.
The good thing though is Josh he's balanced. His mind is level headed, and I don't think he gets pressed to do more. And I think his coaches are helping him be comfortable and confident in that ability to not do extra. So that's going to take us a long way.
That's a really good point. I think maybe like 3 years ago, when after the 13-second game and they were everyone's Super Bowl pick. Maybe that was a little bit premature, and maybe it did get in the locker room. They were young. Like now, this is a team that's been here for years. I think they're at the point where they're like, we're tired of people picking us. Like we have to go out and get the job done. And I don't really worry about outside noise getting in this locker room or anything.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Mike. I'm on the same thing with you, man.
Feels like a good place to say goodbye for the week. We will be back next week, hopefully talking about a Bills win. But one way or another, it's going to be a very exciting game. And then there's no stopping. We are here. It is go time. And Stevie, before we say goodbye, anything you want to say to the people?
Man, look, hey, just continue to stay supporting your teams. Shout out to the Bills community always. It's going to be an exciting season. It's another one for the books. This is the Sick Podcast. This is Bills Banter.
That's Banter.
Go Bills.
See you guys next week.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Bills Banter on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.